take things very seriously, and people get pissed at him.
We're live.
Do you know?
We are live.
We're live.
Did everyone hear my explanation of why I like Star-Lord?
No, I started us right
Okay.
when you...
Heads up would have been nice. Hey, guys.
What up, dudes? Hey.
I wanted to get the most organic.
So you just then said we're live rather than let it be organic?
I wanted to thrust it upon you. Greatness is thrust upon you. You're not prepared
So
for it.
I didn't consent to this thrusting.
Yeah.
Someone doesn't just give you a heads up for greatness.
They do if you're podcasting, though.
It comes
or
thrust upon
filming, or anything involving a camera.
What's up, guys?
What up, dude?
Do you pod, bro?
Welcome to the
Do you even pod,
most
bro?
well-prepared, pre-planned podcast on
Totes.
the net. The Riffsters podcast.
Is that what the kids are calling it nowadays? The net?
On
The series of
nets.
tubes.
The interwebs with a Z.
So
Is
we
this
have a
streaming to
guest
AOL?
today.
Oh, yes.
We do have a guest today. Our very good friend Alicia.
I feel like I'm not really a guest.
I know.
She's been
But
on
I
it
See,
multiple
it's just
times.
like,
Recurring, you're a recurring guest star.
I'm back in the second season.
You're more than just a single appearance and then your character gets killed.
I'm not a one-off. I'm a recurring
not a
character.
one-off,
I
you're
went off to
recurring.
do like other things for a while, and now I came back.
Yeah.
Now you're back.
If you notice, Derek is not here.
Derek is not here.
He died.
Derek, unfortunately, was experimenting with chemicals in an attempt to recreate a famous super soldier serum. The experiment involved gamma radiation, unfortunately went wrong, causing him to turn into a large green beast-like man.
Mm-hmm.
And
Very hulked out.
and he is currently, that's a good word, Hulk, because he is hulking, right? That's a good. That could be a name, I think, maybe
Yeah,
in the
that
future.
could be a
for him.
superhero. I don't
Perhaps.
know.
And he's escaped into the hills of Los Angeles, where he's
So,
attempting
like,
to
just-
deal with his inner rage before eventually reuniting with his one true love, Liv Tyler.
That's a lie, because we all know his one true love is
Daisy
Ridley.
Yeah, but she was somewhat British in Lord of the Rings, so it's fine.
Yeah, there we go. That's
Somewhat British.
close enough. Close enough. I feel that would be a great film, or a mildly poorly received film.
Mildly?
Mildly?
A pretty poorly received film,
Yeah.
but it could be a film, I think, nonetheless.
It's kind of funny that you said she's mildly British, because Derek strives to be mildly British all the time.
Derek wants to be fully
strives
British.
to be fully British.
She's what I call a beeb. It's like a weeaboo, but for
But a
British
beaboo.
people.
Yeah.
He's an Anglophile.
He's
if
a
you will.
beaboo, yeah.
Beaboo.
Breeb.
Breaboo.
Breeb.
Britaboo.
Georgina says, hi, and who's the other girl?
Georgina,
Alicia.
baby girl.
Alicia.
This is my friend Alicia.
Jonathan Yarrow says, predict who you guys think will die. I think Pepper will die. Man, if we came out of that movie with Pepper being the one that died,
I would be so happy.
everyone
At
breathe a
this
sigh of
point,
relief.
No, I'd be
Hawkeye's been
so
in the-
disappointed.
At this point, Hawkeye's been in
Don't you dare.
He's been in
Hawkeye needs to
I
die.
would think it's hilarious personally if like they're like Hawkeye just got killed off screen before the movie even started. Like, where's Hawkeye? Because he's in none of the promotions. Like, oh yeah, he retired, or like he died in the raft. Like,
Yeah.
he
Come
died
think
in
of it,
prison.
I didn't see him in the promotion.
Yeah.
He hasn't been in
Poor
anything.
Jeremy Renner posted. I'm like, what did you do to piss Disney off? Because Jeremy Renner posted his own Entertainment Weekly cover with Hawkeye on his Instagram, but it wasn't even a real Entertainment Weekly cover. It was one that somebody had photoshopped on his Instagram.
Savage.
Feels
Someone-
bad, man.
Someone photoshopped this guy, Boss Logic. He's like a pretty popular
Yeah.
fan
Yeah.
of
This
his.
is amazing.
He photoshopped this unbelievable. He did the poster that came out with
And
like
then
Iron
the-
Man like this and like all the heroes ever.
Yeah.
He literally replaced them all with Hawkeye, and it looks like professional. I'm like, first of all, one, where did you find this many photos of Hawkeye? Two, how did you get rid of all the heroes and keep like he had to have hand painted
Did
the
you
background back
see
in.
the one too with the? It's like Noel shared it with me actually, and it was the one with the normal. He's like, yeah, he's like, because somebody was like, in this house we vaguely remember Hawkeye.
Yeah.
And I retweeted that, and Noel sent me like he was like, oh yeah, he's like, but he's on the full poster. I'm like, what do you mean the full poster? They released it, and so because in the Twitter where it cuts off, it looks like just the normal poster, but then you click on it and it opens up, and it's just a huge Jeremy Renner's just huge head like underneath. Spider-Man, like underneath the logo, and like it's great.
There was also the famous poster from the artist Ryan Matsunaga that replaced everyone with Rocket Raccoon.
That's true.
Which is the
Yeah.
superior poster.
That's fair. We need to make like that Bob deserved better shirt you have. We need to make Hawkeye deserved better or justice.
He
for
does.
Hawkeye.
He's the best Avenger, honestly.
Clint deserved better.
Clint deserved better.
Clint deserved. That works. I like that. But
Hashtag-
instead of like the
Hashtag free Hawkeye.
But instead of like the Stranger Things red with the font, do the purple with the Stranger Things font.
Yeah,
That'd be a great shirt.
That would be pretty good. Praveen is asking us, which battle do you think is going to be the third act? Wakanda with Cap or the alien planet one with Iron Man and Star-Lord?
I think that one's super early.
I can actually answer this question conclusively based on the footage in the... No, you can.
Okay.
All the footage of him on the alien planet, which I'm almost positive is the ruins of Titan, his gauntlet has
Titan?
Yeah.
Did you just...
I don't know why I did it like that. The ruins.
Titan.
The ruins of a planet known as Titan.
His gauntlet has a blue stone and a purple stone. The blue stone is from the Tesseract, which he'll
We
probably
saw
get early.
Loki
He gets in the first 5
And
minutes.
the purple stone is
Loki's like,
from
F this, I'm out.
Xandar, which is the power stone from Guardians of the Galaxy, and he has no other stones, which leads me to believe, based on Tony saying in this new trailer, we have what he wants. My thinking is that the Soul Stone is in Wakanda, but even if it isn't, there's no way that the alien planet battle is the last act because he only has 2 of the...
That being said, though, Marvel has done a really good job of misleading in their trailers. I mean, we didn't even see, half their trailers for the last few movies, we haven't even seen, the third... Black Panther didn't even show any of the third act in the trailer. Ragnarok showed...
Well, it showed the suit.
Yeah, it showed him with the suit and him falling down the...
Oh, I guess. But,
Yeah.
but the giant
Or
battle, on the
M'Baku
planes...
holding him up.
The giant battle on the planes, though, with everybody, that I...
Yeah.
Although I tried to not watch as much...
You don't
footage
think
from that.
it's... I think... what was I going to say? Have you guys seen all the promotional stuff that Iron Man is attached to the Soul Stone?
Yeah.
They released multiple promotional cups or posters, and it's the Space Stone is tied to Captain America,
Yeah.
and the Power Stone is tied to Star-Lord, and every promotion has Iron Man with the Soul Stone, and of course fan theories are...
Well...
Is he powered by the Soul
I
Stone?
think it's just because they don't
Have anything.
they don't have enough.
I still think it would be
left,
amazing if it was they were like, where's the last stone? And it's like, oh, I've had that since 2008. It's been in a box in my ship. I just want him to have had it the whole time just to mess with people. Speaking of the stones, though, I have a theory because we saw that scene or that shot in the first trailer of it looked like Corvus Glaive maybe because I don't think we saw his face, but it looks like Corvus Glaive maybe. No, I think it's Corvus Glaive taking the Soul Stone from Vision's head. But then we see in this trailer...
Mind
Shuri.
Yeah, the Mind Stone. Shuri has that image of him, so I think maybe what happens is he does get that taken, because there's no way that...
Is that whose head that is? In
Yeah.
the hologram?
Yeah, so I
So-
wonder if he gets the Soul Stone taken, but Shuri figures out a way to
Keep him alive.
keep him alive.
Or
Yeah.
are they we're going to hold you down and take it from you? I don't think so, because the staff doesn't look like that. But if it's hey, Vision, this is going to suck, but we need this.
He's also
Wait.
screaming in that
Yeah.
shot, so I think...
Well, it's going to be painful removing
Yeah.
it from
Wait,
his...
sorry. Shuri had that picture was
Vision.
Vision. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think
I was a little
Shuri
lost.
is going to become the MVP, because I called this even before Black Panther. I'm like, she's the one that's going to give Cap his shield, and she's also going to recreate Bucky's arm. So
Another
I think
white boy
she
to
might be the
fix.
one that another broken white boy to fix. So I think she might be the one that figures out a way to keep Vision alive, because if you remember in Captain America: Civil War, there's that scene where he and Wanda are in the kitchen talking, and he said, I don't know what this is or what it does. He's like, but I wish to understand it so I can learn how to control it. So what I wonder is if he gets to the point where he's evolved enough so that he's kind of organically grown into his personality and his thoughts, and so he doesn't necessarily need the stone anymore, or the Mind Stone, because it was kind of the catalyst, but he's there's a way to keep him going, because I feel I guess he could die, but I
wouldn't care.
man, I like Vision.
Jarvis.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but he was introduced as an AI system, and yeah, he's Vision now, but it's I wouldn't care as much. We need one impactful death.
Oh,
and
it's
I
gonna
don't
be
think
Cap or Iron Man. It's gonna be one of the two of them.
I can't.
Or Thor.
Robert Downey Jr. is going to be doing cameos like Stan Lee
I mean,
for Marvel for the next 50
We
years.
did also see the shot of Thanos crushing Thor's head in front of
But that's the very beginning of the movie.
looked like in front of Loki, which I also think Loki's gonna be playing both sides. I think he's gonna work with Thanos just to try to save the Asgardians or his own ass, but he's actually gonna be working. Yeah.
Kevin Feige's already come out and said Thanos is going to be like, we're going to know how intimidating and scary and powerful he is in the first 5 minutes. He's going to come in, wipe the Asgardians, has Thor, says, give me the Tesseract, and then he throws him from the ship, and he's going to go tumbling and meet the Guardians, is like how I see that first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say, is there's like 100% certainty the movie opens with...
Oh, it's going
They
to.
also digitally removed Thor's hammer from the forge scene, and it's so bad, because he's literally arm up like this, and the lightning's hitting like up here above his hand. It's like...
How is that going to go down? Because last time Loki and Thanos like met each other, Loki's like, "Oh yeah, totally, I'll get you the Tesseract, like no problem, totally." And then he did not do that. Famously, did not do that.
Hoping it wouldn't.
Yeah,
catch up with them.
Famously did not do that, and now he's like,
"I'm sorry, who are you?"
Yeah. So I mean,
I don't remember this.
I mean, there's the shot where he just like hands it over, like, "Please don't kill me, please don't kill me, please don't kill me." So.
You destroyed my army?
I mean, you have to wonder why Thanos would keep him alive after he gets the stone. Unless he sees a use for him.
Yeah, he...
I need more Tom Hiddleston.
Everyone thought, it would suck if he... That one would be... That would be
an impactful one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All the women
It would also
cry.
motivate Thor.
And it would motivate
He'd
Thor.
be the only good villain that's alive at this point. That's... Well, I mean, you have, like, Michael Keaton's Vulture, but that would be...
Yeah.
Loki dying would truly be the end of an era because he's like the one villain that's been threaded. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would hurt. And now the more I think about it, the more I feel like that's probably the thing. Because
damn it, Loki's gonna die.
He also said that
he's not in any other part of the trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Oh man.
I can't handle this right now.
And everyone's sitting there thinking which hero's gonna die, but no one thought about everyone's favorite villain. Yeah.
I'm almost positive Loki's dying because I think his contract's up and it makes sense. Like once Thanos has the stone, I could see him being like, "Yeah, you did a good job, but just for defying me, like I will kill you." And
that would set the stakes right off the bat.
And that
too.
would also, I was reading today that Kevin Feige said that Thor has a really big arc in this movie. And what is a bigger
screen
arc?
time.
Yeah, second. So what's a bigger arc than his brother that he's finally started reconciling with and finally started to redeem himself? Died in front of him.
I could also see it like Loki is trying to talk his way, like, I had to deceive them, and it took longer than I expected, and then Thanos, like, plays into it for a while, Loki thinks he, like, got away with it, and then he, like, lets go of Thor's head, and then, like, grabs Loki, crushes him.
Yeah.
No!
That'd be interesting.
I can't handle it, stop talking about it!
I mean, people are gonna die. Like, we know the newbies are okay, but honestly, any of the people from the first Avengers movie could be dead.
I can handle Iron Man dying. I can handle...
I would be so shocked if he died. I just see Robert Downey Jr. doing cameos for decades.
Tony's not...
I know he's not going to.
I think it's thematically, Cap's arc is concluded.
No, it's not.
And the logical conclusion of Cap's arc is full sacrifice.
Was to make sure the Avengers continue.
Yeah,
excuse me, I'll be right back.
The whole point of his... where are you going?
I'll be right back.
The whole point of... Oh, are you actually getting the shield?
Yeah.
The whole point of his arc, his story, was always that he was a man out of time and he never had a place in the world. And multiple times that he's made a comment or someone else has made a comment. He's like, settling down was not the life for me. Like that
I went in the ice 75 years ago, and I think a different man came out.
Yeah, and like I'm a soul. I'm just all I know is fight. Like they've made so many points about that. So the only thing left for him to do is to sacrifice himself. And Tony's arc
Peggy
feels perfectly coming up. We're about to have that dance. Can you imagine if, like, right after this scene, he's just like, about to get that dance, Peggy. Peggy, you about to dance, Peggy. And Thanos is just like, lol, what? What now?
He, like, stops trying to crush him. He's like, are you okay, Steve?
Yeah, are you alright?
Okay, I'm just saying, like, we just got, like, I don't usually do beards, and we just got bearded Cap, and it's kind of working for him, so I'm like...
I don't know if I've, like, bearded Cap's always great, but I don't think I've ever had a pivot on attractiveness like short hair Chris Hemsworth. Like, long hair Thor's fine.
High five.
But short hair Chris Hemsworth
I was like,
is like,
you could get it.
Damn.
Right. Yeah, I was like, Thor...
No one else in the MCU can compete with short hair, slightly scruffy Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, I think long-haired Chris Hemsworth is hot.
No. As someone who usually has long hair, can't relate, no.
Thor was like, I looked at him, I was like, I understand why women think he's attractive. I just don't find him attractive.
His face looks a lot scrunchier when he has like long hair.
Yeah. I think he leaned up though a little bit for Ragnarok. Like he was still big, but he was a little bit like.
Yeah, he was.
Leaner. He's gorgeous.
I guess actually Jeff Goldblum is the most attractive man in the MCU.
I mean,
but besides that,
clearly it's Jeff Goldblum. I mean,
and we're done.
I want to think.
Call it a day.
I like to pretend that Jeff Goldblum just had that costume of the Grandmaster just laying around. Like he didn't. He just showed up on set. Was like, well, I brought this robe with me. I thought, what do you think? I thought it might work. Like, do you think it's okay? Like. It felt very Grandmastery to me, and they're just like, "Oh my god, like this is perfect."
So the special features, the costumes. I was like, "Oh no, we didn't actually make that. He just showed up with that costume already."
Makeup teams, like not us.
You saw they did the special features for Ragnarok. They did another. Who's Steve, the roommate?
Doug.
Yeah, Doug. Yeah, that was.
Or something.
But the Grandmaster was now his. It was now his roommate.
That's amazing. Have you seen those?
No, I haven't seen him.
The shorts with Thor living with his roommate in Australia.
It was like while you were fighting, and he was like, "I'm here with I'm going to like bring your roommate to work day or whatever." He's like, "I have to work, Thor. Like, what are you doing?" And then now it's the Grandmaster moved in with him.
Nice. I've seen one, I think.
On a little bit of a tangent, have you guys seen they've been releasing a lot of deleted scenes from Last Jedi?
Yeah.
Over the last couple of days? I liked most of them, actually.
I've only seen the Phasma one so far.
There's one that just got released either today or yesterday, and it's Finn in the elevator with Rose and Benicio del Toro's character, I can't remember, and one of the stormtrooper looks at him and it's like, FN2187? He's like he gets all toned and everyone's like reaching for his gun. He's like, don't you remember me? Like, we were on this battle. And he's like, don't do it. He's like, no, man, like, I'm just shocked you made captain. Like, great for me. And I think it's Tom Hardy that's, like, doing the voiceover. And then he, like, pats him on the butt. He's like, good job, man.
What the hell?
That's really fun. I want to see the Caretaker Village sequence. Like, that's, like, the big, long sequence that they cut.
Yeah.
Doug says we should get Reed Richards and have a proper Illuminati. Do we think that there's a potential, should the Fox deals go through, that they could bring in Reed Richards as a new forefront to the new Avengers?
I also think that at some point we're going to see Namor, because he's been teased. There've been Easter eggs for Namor since like the beginning of the MCU. So you'd need. To be fair, I don't really give a shit about Reed Richards. Sorry,
I hate the Fantastic Four.
The Fantastic Four bore me. I don't like. We don't need another super scientist.
We already perfected it in like 2004.
Like that's if there's one thing that kind of annoys me about the Marvel, and of course this is because it was all based like decades ago, where it was like, yo, how many super scientists do we need in one universe? Not everybody can be a super scientist. Like maybe you know what? I would love to see like a bartender get superpowers, or like or like normal people.
That's just an Irishman.
That's just an Irishman.
Playboy? No. A billionaire? Scientist? Super genius? No, I just work at 54th Street.
Yeah, I just poured drinks down the bar. Yeah,
that's the restaurant. That's why I know that, because it used to work. I just pulled the first restaurant name I could think of.
Interesting that was the first one that came up. Okay.
Well, I was just thinking of like a New York bar where this guy was like, mixing appletini before he became laser eyes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I kind of like
the Avenger.
I kind of like the downplay that a little bit with T'Challa, and Shuri was the super scientist, because I want to see her and Peter Parker meet, nerd out over science together, and then like a scene with like Tony Stark and Bruce Banner, and a scene with like Tony Stark and Bruce Banner being like, the kids are going to be all right, as they ride off into the sunset and hand over the science.
Looks like it's going to be Doctor Strange though.
Doug Cowell says the super bartender is Luke Cage. That's true.
This is actually very true.
Accurate.
Praveen wants to know whom you would cast.
Seriously, all the defenders like have normal jobs. Like, thank you for not being scientists. Like private detective.
Tyler
Hecklin as Namor.
Trust fund baby.
Trust fund baby. Billionaire trust fund
like
baby. Yeah.
Namor.
Wait,
who would you cast as Namor?
Ooh.
I literally know nothing about this character. So.
I was going to play it cool.
So
he's kind of a sexy dick.
Okay, he's not sexy. The Widow's Peak.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, Widow's Peak, Nicolas Cage. Done.
I don't think he's sexy. They tried to make him sexy. Is what
yeah. I would like to see an Asian
sexy
actor.
Widow's Peak.
I'd like to see an Asian actor play him.
That'd be cool too.
Ooh.
BD1.
What's the guy's name from? Crap, he's in the new Tomb Raider, and he's in Badlands.
Isn't he?
Are you thinking of Louis Tan?
No.
No, I'm thinking Daniel Kim. Daniel Day Kim is who I'd like to see play him.
Oh, that'd be a good one.
That'd be a cool one.
Daniel Day Kim and
Louis Tan would be great.
I want to see Louis Tan play Nightwing.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry,
I mean,
what?
I don't know. Hold on, isn't Namor older than Mike Lewis Tan?
Yeah, he's. I mean, he's older.
But you can make him
but
younger
I just
just for
see
the shits.
Daniel Day-Kim. So Namor is. We've had some like dicks or like dick-ish guys in the MCU, like Tony Stark, Stephen Strange, but Namor is a grade A. Like
dickwad
asshole. Like he would bring a whole new dynamic because he hates people. He really only gets involved to protect his own people and not to. He doesn't give a crap about anybody else outside his own people. He's arrogant. He has superiority complex. He doesn't really care about like making friends and pleasantries and being nice. And there was this whole weird storyline where he's like super obsessed with Sue Storm. Really weird when she's married to Reed Richards. It's very strange.
They actually kind of took they made Aquaman in the DCEU into a little bit of like him.
Yeah.
Because he turned into like a huge dick. I know he didn't really care for people, but like...
They try to give him a little bit more swagger.
Yeah, and then he reminded... Like, I was like, which universe are we in right now?
I don't know.
Because he kind of... Not entirely, but there were some like aspects I feel like they stole from.
Like, it'd be really interesting to see Namor, like, against Doctor Strange, who's chilled out, or, like, even against Peter Parker, where Peter's like, hi, you know, like, I'm Peter, who is it, like, who are you? Like, what are you, 5, you know? And Peter be like, okay, cool, I'll just be over here then. Stay over there, being a dick, you know, like, so.
Peter continues to just be fantastic when paired with all these heroes. Like, his whole, like, my favorite line in the trailer is the, hey, I'm Peter, by the way.
Names. Yeah.
Doctor Strange. Oh, we're using made-up names. I am Spider-Man.
and I've said, I think I was telling you this before, that I really, really was hoping we'd see that dynamic between Peter Parker and Stephen Strange from the comics, because I love their dynamics and their relationship in the comics. And so that little stinger, like the minute he was like, hi, I was like, oh my god, he does get to meet Doctor Strange. Like, I'm so excited about this.
Dies, but he won't die.
If Tony in the movie did the goatee or like beard bros high five to Doctor Strange,
facial hair bros, yeah,
beard bros,
people would riot. I would be
high
besides
five.
Myself.
Facial hair bros, like, I hate you, yeah. But then later on, he steps to the portal and he's like, he's like, well, I couldn't leave my. He's like, why did you come back? Like, you know, to save or to help or whatever. And Doctor Strange is like, well, couldn't let my facial hair bro hanging or leave my facial. And he's like, and like this close up on Tony's face, and he's just like, it was all worth it just for this. Like,
so good.
Yeah.
That Spider-Man line, and then I was gonna ask you what your favorite lines are, because my other favorite one was the Guardians, or was the Peter Quill.
I mean, to be fair, it's like the only two
line.
funny lines in the trailer.
It's good, except for that it sucks.
It's kind of hard to pick favorite lines because like those are the only two memorable lines. Like everything else is mostly just voiceover.
That's true.
So,
I mean, from the first trailer, it's clearly there was an idea.
There was an idea.
Yeah.
I'm loving.
Or the like balancing the universes in one, you know, isn't something one generally considers fun, but you know.
I'm loving the start of every trailer with the single piano note Avengers theme.
Yeah.
Is like haunting.
What I think is going to be interesting is I want to see if they somehow weave the Avengers and the Guardians themes together, because the Guardians have their own very distinct theme as well.
Cue random 80s song,
Just disco, yeah. The Guardians, yeah.
That's probably what I'm most curious about, is how they come to interact, like the circumstances that cause them to interact with.
Thor is going to meet them, and he's like, "Hey, I have friends on Earth,"
like,
and Peter Quill's like, "I'm from Earth,"
but just like I want to see that.
And all my family's dead.
I want to see that come together. You know, like I want to see Star-Lord ride in right at the last second with all the Guardians whenever he's going to shit, and then a song from the soundtrack plays, and like Hooked on a Feeling is.
Also, I know you would have really geeked out about this. We haven't talked about it, but when Peter Quill is jumping on Doctor Strange's, because you were so excited when Iron Man grabbed his thing, and he's running on. I saw that and immediately thought, Julian's gonna love this.
Dude.
Go back 2 steps.
Peter Quill is jumping on the they're not portals, they're like platforms.
Like
that Stephen Strange.
Oh, okay. That was him. I didn't even notice in the everything was going so fast.
Yeah, he has his rockin' boots and he's like jumping from. I hope he does that with. There was that one shot too of Spider-Man like falling through all of the rubble and stuff too. It's like, oh, and I'm like, okay, where are the Waldos? Where are the Waldos? The legs. Which, okay, small little nitpicky thing. I hope to God he has 4 legs instead of 3 like he does in the comics, because 3 legs makes no damn sense. So I want him to have 4 legs for the Iron Spider.
All the toys show him having those legs, and that could also be one of those things. Now I'm realizing more and more after everything's different in a post-Thor Ragnarok world because that they edited his eyes in the trailer. Now everything in these trailers are like...
Well, they took out his hammer.
Dude, like I said, like
you're right, they could have taken out stones from
But
his
they've
thing.
also been, I mean, they've been doing that for a while now. I mean, they've done that for, like, people are like, they gave so much away in the trailer. I'm like, no, they don't. They did for phase 1 because they need to get people on board. Be like, here's exactly what you're getting. But now it's just like Marvel movie and people are like, I'm there. I don't even need to know the setting or the, like...
Just put Marvel name for 15 seconds and
Marvel's insert object.
Marvel's untitled movie, you know, next month. People are like, I'm there.
But nothing was as glaringly edited to avoid spoilers as Thor's eye. Like, that's the most concrete example of something, like, very different being changed. So, like, in this case, the hammer is a clear one, but, like, it's very possible that him swinging in that last part, he could have the things out, and they just got rid of him. You know? It's a Photoshop layer. You just click, hide.
Yeah.
Like... You know, it could be, and then same thing with Tony. Any shot of Tony in the armor, like he's got those wings. They haven't shown us those yet.
I'm also really curious to see what's up with Kraglin because at the end of Guardians 2, he was kind of part of the Guardians.
Yeah, he was. And he had the.
But and he has Yondu's arrow, which he uses
accidentally kills himself with it.
But that shot where Thor's like, "Who the hell are you guys?" He's not standing there with them. It's just
he'd
normal.
be kind of weird in this movie.
So
Doug brings up a good point. Is the shields on Cap's arms were edited out of the first trailer as well, which is a good point.
Yeah.
That still doesn't
because they gave
feel like a final product though.
Shield.
The shields?
Yeah. I don't know why it doesn't feel like a final product.
It's small. It's very but I mean his shield when he was Nomad looks a lot smaller.
He needs
I mean this is Nomad Cap. This isn't Captain America like we keep calling Captain America, but technically it's not. He's Nomad in this movie.
And Bucky is going officially by the White Wolf, which is kind of
he gets called that, or he gets referenced as that in Black Panther, but it doesn't necessarily mean...
No, they were saying, like...
Oh, are they?
Like, I think it's in that EW thing I saw somewhere that, like...
Interesting. I've been trying to stay away from stuff. Yeah, like, I don't want to know any of this. Yeah. But no, I mean, go ahead and say it, yeah.
One of the blurbs was, like, now going by the codename White Wolf, like, Bucky is blah, blah, blah. So, like, I think I think it is, like, more than just a little children's nick.
I love that M'Baku is in
White Wolf
the trailer.
is a character in the comics.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's not Bucky, but it's a different character.
He has a battle with T'Challa a lot because he's like the one white person that's like allowed in Wakanda, and he disagrees at times, and like they have battles because of that. But he is like a protector.
Yeah,
the White Wolf.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's
cool.
He has his own like it's very similar to the Black Panther costume, but it's all white and then.
I like when they do that in these adaptations, where like I think that's nice, where like you take something that's like really not important or like a very side thing, and you find a way to weave it in organically into the story you've weaved without a direct adaptation. Like I sometimes like that. I think it's like it's a nice way to like reference that thing, you know, because you're never going to make that like,
until you get actually.
Yeah, actually, that's not how it goes. Although. Speaking about using that as a transition point in terms of like faithfulness to comics and whatnot, so I actually have been reading there's a miniseries called Thanos Rising from 2013, which is like his origin story, and then and then Infinity Gauntlet, like the 80s or 70s, like 6-issue, like the series, and something that I was like after reading those, and then I watched the trailers again. I was like, they've been like really faithful in adapting everything like Thanos related. Like he's from Titan, he's the exact same arc as in the Infinity Gauntlet comic, which is he's trying to
wipe out half the world. He's
literally down to the snapping. They mentioned that, and then like something else I noticed.
His motivation's very different though.
Not that part, but just like there's a lot that they're directly pulling.
Little
like
details.
He wants to half the universe. He can do it with a snap, which he does in the comics. Like then I noticed too that they not only did they adapt the Black Order like pretty identically from the comics, but they also have all those things they're fighting in Wakanda are like the Outriders, which are like these alien beasts, and they look exactly like they did in the comics. So they're being really faithful.
Yeah, they've adapted all the stuff like that.
People
like, what are those things? Like those are the Outriders. Like those are basically his cannon fodder. They're like his foot soldiers that he sends in to scout and like overrun places. That's the only thing I'm wondering though, because the little details are right, but his motivation is very different. Because from the beginning, everybody's been like, "Where's Death? Why is he
they teased it at the end of Avengers.
So like I'm curious, especially because they got the rights back to Fox. I wonder if Death factors into this somehow. And then Deadpool marries her, which would be amazing.
So
I want Avengers 4 because they haven't released the title yet. I want it to be Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe, where he just they survive Infinity War and he just comes in and kills all of them.
But I want the Punisher kills the Marvel Universe.
Deadpool
I actually own that comic.
Deadpool roasts the Marvel Universe.
That was a really existentially just
sad,
gutting comic book.
So Cal just said something which kind of blew my brain a little bit related to what I was talking about in terms of like adaptation from the comics. So I don't know if, well, I'm sure you have read, but for you two that probably haven't read these Infinity Gauntlet series in the original series, it kind of starts with the Silver Surfer crashing into the Sanctum and coming to Doctor Strange and being like, Thanos is coming.
Yeah.
So Doug just said the Hulk crashing into the Sanctum in place of Silver Surfer gave me so much trust in his crew, and I was like, holy crap, that's such a great swap, because he could come crashing in and take that same role and be like, guys.
Silver Surfer was basically the Paul Revere, just right, like Thanos is coming. Yeah,
such a perfect role for Ruffalo's Hulk to take.
You sure the Flash isn't just going to try and come in and warn everybody?
Can you imagine?
We killed our Flash and he stayed dead. No, our Flash could not run a bullet. Sorry,
don't do it.
No.
What? If Cap fell asleep in the Wakandan war room, and then Ezra Miller shows up. You have to did I come to the wrong movie? My bad.
Cap wakes up and is like, oh my god. He's
wrong universe.
And then he wakes up, he's like, oh my god, I feel like I was trapped in
timeline.
a terrible universe. I was trapped in a horrifying universe where nothing made sense and everybody's mother's names were Martha.
Everything's dark, no one's happy ever.
Yeah.
Oh god, that'd be so...
I kind of wanted Thanos to just kill that one and start over,
Now I just want that for every movie. I want every movie, anytime someone falls asleep, to feature a dream sequence where Ezra Miller bops in.
That weird ass armor that he was wearing.
Oh god.
I still remember watching that and I was the least big DC fan out of the 4 people with us. The girl sitting next to me, Rose, was literally, she does a DC podcast.
Yeah.
And then, and all 3 in that moment, they all leaned over and they went to me, was that the Flash? I was like, that was the Flash. And we're like, why?
It's
I'm
terrible.
I don't know.
My god, that would retroactively make Batman v Superman so much better if the next 100 movies all featured Ezra Miller showing up being like, what? Ah, crap. And then you go back and watch that and he'd be like,
damn it, Barry.
Is this? Yes!
Yeah.
I got it right.
Yeah.
This is the right movie. This is the right universe.
Oh no, I'm running out of time.
yeah. Damn it, now I have to go.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Ezra, did you tell him? No, I wasted all my time going to 100 other different universes that were wrong.
There were some guys find a giant purple dude. It looked like a pretty cool universe. They were happy.
Fighting over jewelry? I don't know.
I don't think we'll see him in this movie, which is kind of weird, because he's a big part of it in the comics, which, they can do without, but I'm very curious to see if we'll see Adam Warlock in...
I've been wondering if that's ever going to happen.
Guardians 3.
Because he's also an insanely important character in Infinity Gauntlet.
To be fair, Kevin Feige said Guardians 3. He said not Infinity War, he said Guardians 3, but Kevin Feige also says a lot of bullshit to get people off the trail, because
he has to.
That he does, and I don't blame him for it. But that's the thing that people are like, well, the director said. I'm like, do you know how often directors just tell bald-faced lies, because they're contractually obligated, or they don't want to spoil something, or
they just don't care.
If directors told the truth all the time, everything would be ruined because fans have no chill whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so they definitely are changing the motivations behind the Infinity Gauntlet storyline. The details, like you said, are right, but a lot of the the bigger backstory, with that he does it all for death, and
yeah.
And Adam Warlock.
It's the cheesy comic stuff that they had to get rid of, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So although
people are also forgetting that there's another movie that's this same arc,
and they're not releasing the title because we're gonna know what it is. So I'm just it has to be. At first, I was maybe it's... I was thinking Secret Wars. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking Secret Wars or Secret Invasion.
What's Secret Wars and Secret Invasion?
Jack?
Secret Invasion is basically we find out that, half of the MCU is all...
they were all Skrulls.
Yeah.
Shape-shifting Skrulls just pretending to be...
And then it, becomes a battle between the Skrulls and non-Skrulls.
How would Thanos be involved in that?
I was just thinking because I was thinking of Captain Marvel, because we're going to see a lot of the Kree in there. It's going to deal with the Kree Skrull War. So I was just thinking
maybe that's all
or
the next
Secret
phase,
Wars.
though. Maybe that's the big bads once Thanos is out of the way.
The knowledge seeker just said, "Do you guys know the Secret Invasion storyline? It'd be awesome if they did it."
Yep.
You're welcome.
Yep.
Or
Well, I guess-
you're welcome.
I finally got World War Hulk, so
True. But I guess that's a question then, because until you guys said that, I guess there's two potential options.
Secret Wars or
one-
Secret Invasion.
Well, like one option would be that
It's not
it's
gonna play on
it's
Hulk.
a
That was our.
I know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Infinity War
I
is
was
a
correcting myself.
cliffhanger leading into what was Infinity War Part 2, which is like titled something else, but is a continuation of this battle with Thanos, or does it conclude the battle with Thanos in this movie and then the
That
next
would feel
movie-
so empty.
I think so too. I think it has to lead it, which is why I don't think they could do one of those two things.
And also they filmed concurrently, like they filmed back to back.
Yeah.
So I think, and that was also scheduling too. But I think that this will lead into the fourth one. But they have straight up said we will not tell you the title until after Infinity War is out because it will give it away. Like you will know, like fans, like Marvel fans, you will know what this story's gonna be about if we release the title, which I like. I like that Marvel's so. They're so good at like giving fans the keys to the kingdom. Like everybody gets everything they want, but I like in this case they're like, no, you guys can wait. Like,
yeah, but when the cool parent tries to become the disciplined parent, the kids don't like it anymore and they rebel back, get angry and upset.
The Fandango pre-ticket sale record breaking Black Panther's pre-ticket sale record in 6 hours is very much the kids fighting back. Yeah. Which that is crazy to me that Black Panther broke Fandango's pre-sale ticket
Disney
records,
is
and
just
then
like...
Infinity War came along and was like, watch us beat that. I was like, how amazing must it be to be a studio where your biggest problem is that you have to bump the date of one of your giant movies because your giant movie making absurd amounts of money might get in the way of your other movie making absurd amounts of money.
Also...
And on top of that, the franchise that you're now going to own in a few years once the legal contract goes through, making absurd amounts of money.
Mm-hmm. Also, like, how bad do you feel for Ant-Man and the Wasp? Because it's going to get compared unfairly to Black Panther and Infinity War because they came out in the same year. And I think it's going to be fun, and it's going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think it'll
not going to be those movies.
I can compartmentalize.
It's not going to make the money that these two did, but it doesn't have to. Like, for me, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be happy for a little palate cleansing, like, rom-com heist movie again. Like, I emotionally, like, after Infinity War, I'm like, I'm just going to need a fun Marvel movie where it's Ant-Man, where it's Scott Lang being dumb, and Evangeline Lilly, like, Wasp finally gets to, you know, show off, and, yeah.
Do you think it's going to get to $3 billion?
I don't know.
Infinity War?
No.
Ooh.
The record is what, 2.7?
At a certain point, there's just not enough people on the planet. Like, I guess people can see it more than once, but like,
yeah.
I think we're gonna need to see it more than once.
What's amazing me is, I mean, I guess it's not amazing me so much, but it's very interesting watching Black Panther's numbers because it's over $1 billion. But usually it's like you'll get like 300-something million domestic, and then the rest is made up internationally. Black Panther's the opposite, where it's at like 650 million domestically.
I think it's aiming closer to 700, but
yeah. And then overseas is like maybe a third of it or so. Yeah. But Infinity War, like,
America's not racist for once. Jokes. Yeah.
So that's why Jack was removed from the podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, Alicia will now be a permanent member and has been bumped up from recurring status to series regular.
So yeah.
That's like when you're forced now to kill the character off in the third season when you were planning on having him for another 3, like in Grey's Anatomy.
Because the actor got into
the
drugs.
actor does something terrible. Yeah, and they're like, ooh. Yeah.
Teen Wolf.
Or
triggered.
Or your, I don't know, say director who's going to direct your female superhero movie ends up being a raging kind of gross adulterer dude, and it's getting yanked. Joss Whedon. Joss Whedon.
What happened to him?
Yo, you didn't. This was a whole thing. Like, so he gets signed to do Batgirl, and everybody's like, "Oh, he's so feminist," and women are like, "Hold up, actually, he's not really that feminist." Like, if you kind of go back and look at his work, like he like portrays women like the male fantasy. But then his ex-wife came out and was like, let me tell you about what it was like being married to Joss Whedon. And he apparently was like super gross with a lot of the girls on set, and was like, it made me feel like a god to be surrounded by all these like young, beautiful women. I couldn't help myself. And his wife was like, nah, but you could. So it was pretty gross. And then that's Wonder Woman script leaked.
Julian's looking it up right now.
Then that Wonder Woman script leaked, which to me, I wasn't as mad about that because it was the first script. This is why, like, original scripts don't see the light of day because they're always bad, but just reading through, I was like, ooh, these are some pretty questionable ideas in here. Like, this wasn't the final script, but it was definitely a script. It was like, you thought that was a good idea to have Diana do that? So
that sucks.
Yeah. And now he's not on. Although that could very well have been because Justice League just didn't do great despite him helping, and I have a feeling that it might have been a mutual parting the ways because Joss was like, yeah, I don't really
want to work
Marvel
with the
might have
DC.
stressed me out for Age of Ultron, but at least Marvel knew what it was doing, and which it floored me that he even agreed to do Batgirl in the first place. I was like,
can you imagine just pitching Justice League and like, oh yeah, like $1 billion, like easy, yeah, sure, and then just like whiffing so hard on that.
Although Ava DuVernay just got tapped to direct New Gods, which is going to be pretty dope. I just saw A Wrinkle in Time. I liked it. It was a pretty faithful adaptation of the books. I'm a little bit...
Oh, so bad.
Here's the thing. It was for kids. Like, an adult being like, this was so bad, this was so bad. I'm like, no, it's like, those movies were not for us. Those movies are for kids. Those movies
for kids.
Those movies are
Yeah,
for
same.
You also like Power Rangers, so...
I also like the
Great
original
film.
Wrinkle in Time, so like
Yeah.
watching this, I was just like, I'm so bored.
But she said the same thing.
I
And
walked
so
out
much of
feeling
it-
nothing.
So much of it was narratively inert. Like, I know that story, and I didn't know what was going on.
I didn't... Okay, so I didn't watch it for me. I had my 9-year-old niece with me, and she loved it. Like, she
It was
walked
visually
out,
very
yeah.
beautiful.
She walked out and she was like, she's like me, because my niece is a little like science nerd too, and like tomboy, and she was like, I loved it. Like, my mom was like, that was really sweet, I liked that. And she's like, does it like the books? I'm like, it's a little oversimplified. I'm like, but it's good. It had problems, but I also disagree with people like savagely trashing it, trying to tank the score like they were trying to do with Black
Nobody should
Panther.
do that.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
shouldn't be savagely trashed. I just personally, like, knowing, like, the potential it had was a little disappointing.
You know what? It reminded me a little bit of The Golden Compass, where it's like a lot of those like quantum physics and like kind of higher ideas. It's hard to.
But the
So
thing of it
I'm
is it didn't go into the higher stuff at
I
all.
am going to counter that with, isn't The Golden Compass your second least favorite adaptation of a book ever? And like, you rage hate it?
No, I do. But I'm saying like, but if I had been watching that movie and
Yeah.
took my like 9-year-old niece to see it, then I would have. I also read The Golden Compass later in life, whereas like A Wrinkle in Time I read it like as a kid, like as a little girl. So
Yeah.
like I went into it going like, if my 9-year-old niece loves this, then like that's what I'm not watching this movie for me. I'm watching it for.
bad. It was so bad.
I thought the little girl that played.
She was
Meg-
okay. Oprah ruined every scene she was in.
Because she can't.
She was so bad. And like, what's her nuts?
Reese.
No,
Mindy
Reese,
Kaling?
Reese Witherspoon was fine.
Mindy Kaling?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was terrible.
I didn't see it, so I
And she was just saying lines.
The kid that played Caleb
Like-
wasn't great.
And he literally every single freaking
Is that the older or younger boy?
the older boy.
The little boy, the one that
He was
played Charles
cute,
Wallace,
but he
was
was-
adorable.
He's
Terrible
cute,
actor.
but you can't saddle your 4-year-old actor with lines like, oh, we're off to see the guy. Oh, that happy sadist. Like, it's
Yeah.
just the most cringeworthy thing I think I've seen in 10 years.
I thought that worked because it was so incongruous.
Oh, it was so bad.
But the older boy, like, he was just so creepy. Every time he looked at the little girl, I was just like, I'm getting pedophile vibes here, or like pervert vibes. Like, he just, like, I don't know. There was just something wrong with the way he looked at him.
They hyped up some of the, like, he was, like, kind of... Because in the books, like, it's clear he has a crush on her, but they hyped that up a little bit too much.
It was too much, and I just and then on top of that, like there's obviously some very beautiful moments. Like, I loved this, like, it's still stuck in my head about like when she was saying like she didn't think that she wanted to change who she was, and was it Oprah, I believe? She was like, do you know how many like random occurrences had to have happened for you to be here today? Like, you were exactly who you were supposed to be. Like, I thought that was gorgeous. They touched a little bit too much on her hair, which I thought was interesting because that's a very touchy subject in general for people. So,
But I see why they did that because
I know
that's
why.
a very... Yeah.
but they did it more than once, and I was like, you only needed to say that once. Like, you only needed to bring that up once. Like, he was like constantly like, your hair is so beautiful, your hair. I'm just like, okay, now you're just being a white boy who's being creepy as fuck. Like, I don't know. There was like a lot of problems with that movie for me, even for a kids movie. And I am an apologist for bad movies.
Dana was like significantly bummed out, like for
Yeah.
hours after we left that movie theater.
Like, I see the importance it had for people. It's just, and I see like how kids would absolutely love it. I couldn't stand it.
We all liked episode 1 too.
I think it's a big win for like representation. Like I'm all about that. Like that's great. And she I thought she
had no problem with that.
It's great for people to see like her being like a smart kid and like a science nerd and like if that causes someone like your niece to be like she's just like me, like awesome, totally worth it. Like
totally worth it.
Part of the whole like equality for genders and races and representation is that like they're just as much allowed to make bad movies and whiff on things as other races and genders as well. So I think it's like even if it sucks, even if I thought it was a poorly made adaptation, if it caused that reaction, still think great. And like by all means Ava DuVernay should get to do that, whiff on that, and go take on New Gods and kill that. Like that's what it's all about. Like that's what it is.
I don't think just jumping off that. I've ever been so confused leaving a movie, just because we're talking about movies we've recently seen, as Annihilation, which I don't think any of you guys have seen.
I haven't seen it. Ryan loves it. Our friend Ryan absolutely loves it.
I liked so many elements about it and left that theater feeling nothing.
I
just don't. By the way, no spoilers.
Yeah.
It's a thinker. It's a real like you don't emotionally connect with it.
I think it wanted to be a thinker, and it wasn't.
But you walk out of it. Yeah, I don't know. I liked it.
This is my problem with movies in general lately. Maybe I'm just like completely oversaturated by movies and media in general. The pivot to video everyone's doing, like I think I'm just a little dead inside.
As we sit here on a podcast.
Yeah, I know, right?
Podcast.
Well, like, yeah. But I just like I've been leaving a lot of movies recently feeling nothing. Like
it's because there's been a lot of movies out there that have been very mediocre.
Yeah,
a lot of the big blockbusters and like wide release ones have been fine. Like I've walked out of a lot of movies being like that was fine.
And I'm someone who has gone out of movies feeling so inspired and like just ready to like take on the world or like whatever, that like leaving movies nowadays and feeling nothing, I'm just like, what is happening to me? Is it me or is it the movies?
Honestly, I feel like the only studio that's consistently doing movies that make me walk out feeling is Marvel. Like,
yeah.
They got that Disney magic.
See, that's interesting. When I've been walking out of movies lately, I've been feeling aggressively sociopathic and borderline murderous. So I don't know what that's about. Maybe you guys can tell me.
What?
Which
okay,
movies are like Wrinkle in Time?
Because I date you.
When I came out of Wrinkle in Time, actually, while you were in the bathroom, went around the corner and strangled a pigeon, and then I felt better. But I don't know.
Is that like a euphemism?
No, that's a literalism. So maybe you guys can help me unpack what that means in relation to the wider sphere of my life.
What's your relationship with your mother like?
Do you remember our first podcast where I said
support.
I wanted to kill anyone who killed animals?
Yes. It was a fake pigeon?
There you go.
Julian, you don't even like getting close to animals because you were convinced for the longest time that you didn't want pets because you don't get close to them because if they got sick or died, you would cry. I'd be heartbroken. So
even weirder than that I got close enough to murder one.
It's weird. He was crying during it.
I was sadly strangling.
All right, this got super.
Why am I doing this?
So
this got real weird.
Okay, but can you explain why you have these emotions after seeing a movie? Like
how I've been feeling. That's what I'm hoping you guys can help me shed light on, because all I know is I walked in to go see Wrinkle in Time at 3:55 and came out wanting to murder a gaggle of poultry.
How much more time do we have? Because I know we want to jump into... Not much time. Because I know we want to jump into our Avengers themed...
I think we could quickly run through it in like 5 minutes.
We have plenty of time. We're good. We got as much time as we need to.
Because we want to jump into our Avengers D&D.
Yes.
We're
so DM might want to...
currently at an all-time high concurrent live viewers, so...
Double digits.
Are we really?
Yeah, we're at 11.
Hi, guys.
We were at 12 a second ago. So thanks to everyone who's watching right
now. Now we're at 10.
This is the most we've ever
Sweet.
Yeah. Somebody was just like, "Oh, this dickhead!" Click.
Yeah,
it's like
murders pigeons. Yeah, fuck you. Like
murdering pigeons.
Man, if I was everyone watching right now, I would all just simultaneously quit and like come back, obviously, but just quit just to make me look like an idiot. Just have it go from 10 to 0.
Oh God. Okay, but D&D. Dungeons and
Dragons. What you wanna just like inform the viewers?
DM.
Speaking of Avengers Infinity War.
Yeah, we're actually doing, which we're trying to figure out if we can live stream on the Riffsters channel. So if you tune in this Wednesday, you may be able to see it. If we can figure out the logistics. Wednesday night we're actually we're all big Dungeons and Dragons players, And so we're attempting a 6-week campaign in which I will be putting these guys through hell. All of them have chosen Marvel characters, and they will be attempting to go up against Thanos, and I'll be guiding them on that journey.
Based on the MCU, like how it's unfolded. So I think Julian and I had the idea first, then you wanted to DM, and then it went from there and snowballed.
Julian's been spending weeks planning this D&D thing.
Yeah,
He's been reading tons of comics and just writing a whole, like, campaign from scratch.
I really hope we don't solve that puzzle in a minute.
Again. Right, like that one.
Yeah.
That would be awkward.
So we have, it's funny because none of us picked Avengers.
I think it's actually better this way, because that way the Avengers are doing their thing. I don't know, like Julian hasn't.
They're looking for their own stones, and we're like, guys, we got them.
We got them already.
So, do we want to go around saying who?
Maybe we should explain, just give a brief overview about D&D for people that have not played it. Or don't.
It is a live-action role-playing game.
You basically just make up your story. You can either do pre-made stories, or you make up your stories as you go. And Julian actually has homebrewed this one and built it from scratch.
Yeah, we're homebrewing characters.
Original story based around a lot of the Marvel lore, but an original narrative, just because I had to create something new for these guys to like actually go through something that made sense within the world of D&D. Doug is actually telling me that there are Marvel rules for D&D. So, Doug, if you would want to maybe put a link in the comments to where these Marvel rules are, we'd love to read them.
We probably won't use them, but
still,
we'll read them.
We're running
we'll read them, yeah.
But,
you never know. Yeah.
But yeah, y'all are not emotionally ready for the next 6 weeks. You're gonna... It's gonna hit you pretty... Like, it opens with a bang, I'll tell you that. Like, literally, the first word in my script is...
Bang.
Boom.
Bang.
Boom. It opens with a boom.
Is it Rocket? Is it Rocket blowing something up?
No.
Is it Goes the Dynamite?
No, that's incidentally...
Is it Broom Shakalaka?
Broom Shakalaka.
Who's playing who?
So, go ahead.
Because I missed the character building.
So our friend Ryan is playing Rocket. Surprise, because it's
Shocking.
exactly the same D&D character he's basically been playing this whole time, which is just someone who likes to fire things.
And he's in love with Rocket.
Rocket Raccoon, not to be confused with Rocket Man, Rocket Lord, Rocket America,
Porcupine,
Rocket America,
Rocket Hulk,
ooh.
Rocket
Witch,
Spider, Rocket Witch, Rocket Vision,
Pocket Rocket.
Yeah.
Just to clear up any potential confusion. There.
I was gonna play the Hulk, but when we were making characters, I realized everyone was basically playing a punchy melee character. So I decided to actually play more of a spellcaster. I didn't want to be Scarlet Witch because I don't really like her. So I'm Storm, actually. That's gonna be a lot of fun, and I love lightning. Every time I play Skyrim, if I play a mage of anything in any RPG, it's always a lightning mage.
Don't your gauntlets now in our campaign have some lightning?
They
Shocking Grasp. Oh, you have Shocking Grasp.
I have Shocking Grasp with my current character that we've been playing in other D&D campaigns, but no, my gauntlet shoots out a huge flame of fire, and then it can also do a thunderous boom.
Right.
If I like punch the ground, because I basically made my other D&D character as Yang Xiaolong from Ruby. If any of you are anime fans,
which Storm's gonna be interesting for you because Dana usually likes to just Dana's method of D&D every time is
punch things.
Who needs stealth? I want to punch something. Like Dana is.
See that gate over there? I'm gonna poke it with a stick.
Dana
basically
zero stealth, zero negotiating, zero like, hey, let's chill and take a moment to like consider our option for, oh, you're just punching. Oh, okay, cool. So it's gonna be interesting watching you play Storm, since Storm is the like wise.
I'm playing a younger Storm, to be fair.
Wise. She's usually pretty level-headed. She's responsible. She's wise. She's the antithesis of every character you've ever played. She's like
fun killer.
Yeah.
No, I'll have fun with the lightning. I've really homebrewed a good... She's a cleric, like a Tempest cleric, for any of you who are D&D aficionados.
Yeah.
But I've changed a couple of the things to be a little bit more Storm-like. So there's this thing, for those of you who don't know, like there's a ability that clerics do called Sacred Flame. Mine is Sacred Lightning, so... That's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So you're playing Storm.
Yeah.
You're playing...
Spider-Man. Shocking. I know we're all shocked. We're very surprised by this.
She really loves Spider-Man.
I really love Spider-Man.
So the guy who's mostly responsible for getting us into D&D will be playing Drax. And we have another friend, Derek, who's usually on the podcast, who's going to be playing Wolverine.
He was going to be Captain America, but then we talked him into Wolverine on accident.
He talked himself.
We mentioned Wolverine, and he goes, I'm going to be Wolverine, so...
he was going to play Cap, and then he was like, should I play Cap? He had one more that he was going to do before he went to Wolverine. What was it? He was like,
there
should
was
I play
another
this? And he asked me if he should play that, and then he decided, no, I'll play Wolverine.
Yeah.
So he flitted between a couple different ones.
I forgot what the other one was.
I was going to do Black Widow at first, and I was like, oh, I'm already playing like kind of a rogue assassin, so and she'd be a little bit OP, I think, compared to Thanos.
Well, then you scale her down.
I think Spider-Man is fun.
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man...
We're working on Spider-Man tonight for you.
Yeah, I have to build my characters. They did like a whole session building their characters, and I was on the other side of the country, so I didn't get to do that. So I'm going to be Spider-Man. I'm cobbling him together from a bard and a monk.
Yep.
So, like, for a bard, again, for those of you that play D&D, you know, like, one of your first starting cantrips is Vicious Mockery, where you literally just shit-talk your opponent and, like,
and give them,
like, psychological damage. So I was like, what, that is Spider-Man. Like, and then...
As I recall, I once murdered an enemy by telling him to eat a bag of dicks.
You did. So...
I so forcefully insulted him that his life points expired.
So, and then with Bard, once you get to level 6, you can pick 2 spells from any class, and so I'm going to take some of those and, like...
What's your mix of levels that you're going to do?
I don't think
I'm probably going to be to Bard level 6 and then...
4 Monk
for now, because we're starting at level 10. So... I get to pick a couple of spells. So I'm going to like Mage Hand, and it'll be like the web. I have, there's like Spider Crawl, and I'm going to have a few other things. Like Monk gets,
We can also take a few of like the spells, and like, we're probably going to like mess around with them to be more Spider-Man-y.
Monk gets like Flurry of Fists, which is basically like Spider-Man's flash stepping. I want to see if I can...
We're going to find something for
Spider Sense. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be...
Probably like advantage on dodge, or like an extra advantage on dodge, or you know, something like that.
Yeah. Or saving throw or something like that. So it's going to be pretty cool. So I'm very excited about Spider-Man, so I'm gonna have to.
I made my character Storm to mother hen everyone a little bit. I have guidance and spare the dying.
Oh, I'm gonna be obnoxious. I'm gonna be quipping and talking, which is gonna be hilarious because you will actually have to outquip me because
Team Red. Playing. Yes, I'm playing Deadpool, the best character in Marvel.
2/3 of Team Red.
Should I be Daredevil now? Then we really have Team Red. Oh,
but then you have to roll with disadvantage the entire game because of blindness.
On site-based actions, which is everything.
But yeah, so I initially wanted to be a bard fighter, and my friends talked me off the ledge, and now I'm pure fighter, but I'm still a little sad.
Off the ledge. We're such nerds. Initially, I was going to be a bard fighter, but then they really pulled me back from the ledge on that one.
Yeah, it would have been such a rookie mistake, am I right? God, next I'm going to be a paladin.
You were talking about you're doing something really cool for your
I'm doing some
regeneration.
Yeah, so I maxed out Constitution, which is basically like how well you can stomach poison and your hit points and stuff like that, because there's not really like health regeneration in D&D, so I gave him as many hit points as possible to kind of combat that, and then
Second Wind.
Yeah, I have that. Yeah. And then I got Second Wind, which allows me to heal. Once per rest, and then I also am giving 2 homebrew abilities, which are basically break the fourth wall. So once per session that we do, I can like tell someone out of
session, but per long rest.
We more than likely won't long rest, but yes, I can like tell someone as myself and not in game what to do.
It's called metagaming.
Yes, which you're so much not supposed to do.
Like. When you're in game playing as your characters, I couldn't look at Dana, for example, like, hey, remember your character has this spell, so use that now, like, because your character's in game wouldn't do that.
It's an RPG. That. You're supposed to role play the whole time, so you're not supposed to be like, hey, go do this. So he can do that once a long rest.
And I'm replacing one spell that gives you like berries for health with chimichangas, because of course.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff that I am going to pick for Spider-Man is just going to replace things with webs, like Mage Hand. Instead of just floating it, I'm going to have like the webbing. Or
what race did you end up using as your base?
I did a half orc. Because
he's ugly.
Yeah.
I mean,
Kind of, actually.
You could just do like a terribly burned human.
Yeah.
No, see, I was gonna do human, and then there was like human variant, and I was like, I don't know. I felt like so many people were gonna be human, and then it turns out that might not actually be the case. But I wanted to be a little.
Well,
I went
Rocket's gonna be a
human.
gnome.
Yeah.
Ryan's gonna be a gnome. Are you gonna be human?
Yeah,
I think
so.
Derek's also gonna be half gnome
I might be a
You
human
might-
variant.
or a half orc.
You might actually do best being an elf with the dexterity and charisma. But
Mark also has super high dex already. So.
I went human, but I should have probably gone dark elf because actually dark elves very much resemble what Storm already looks like. They have white hair and dark skin, but like no, but they're beautiful. They're beautiful. But they're usually chaotic evil, so I went human.
But you could play against type. You could be a neutral. Like I'm playing a tiefling in my other campaign. Most tieflings are usually evil, and I'm trying to.
Wow,
be
that's
There is
so
a
weird
good
that you
dark
made
elf.
that decision.
Well, also the stats didn't
Yeah.
line up.
Yeah.
So
So and then Derek's doing Wolverine.
And I think he's half orc. I might be wrong on that. And he's barbarian for sure.
a barbarian
Oh.
orc. Interesting.
He could have been a. Well, I guess it doesn't really make sense.
Yeah.
I was thinking of a.
Ryan might also add
half
ranger.
cat. I can't remember. And then so we have
Yeah.
Jay is Drax.
He sent me a
Drax.
story
That's
sheet, I
right.
can look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is gonna be great because Jay in our current campaign is playing a dwarf, but he talks like Korg. So he's like, piss off, dragon. You know, piss off.
And
Have
he
you got a
only,
hammer?
he only cares about buying properties wherever we go.
Yeah.
And
Oh my
growing
God.
He's a real estate agent.
growing his portfolio.
Yeah.
A real estate agent druid.
So as we're coming up on or passing an hour, it's a good time to kind of wrap it up and go to our sponsor. But before we wrap it up, just a really quick fire question, just one word answer from the Knowledge Seeker who asks, "What is everyone's favorite Marvel and DC character?" So Dana, shoot.
My favorite Marvel and DC character.
Are we saying both or of the two combined pools?
Like
Each
one from
one.
each.
Okay.
Oh God, no, that's changed in the last few years.
Captain Marvel.
Well, the Punisher was my first favorite Marvel character ever, but Captain Marvel is definitely one of my favorites. And then DC, I would probably say Catwoman is still my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
So
For me, Spider-Man, obviously. And then I would actually say either Nightwing or Batgirl.
Not Jared Leto's Joker.
Fuck the Joker. I hate the Joker so much. Hate
It's a
him.
good thing Leo's now going to be him,
Good
potentially.
thing we're getting
What?
3,000 Joker movies. So Spider-Man, and then I would say Batman and
Batman.
Nightwing, since you kind of
Martin
go
Scorsese
together.
directed Joker standalone with Leonardo DiCaprio is a rumor.
Yeah, it's
interesting.
not
Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah,
Also there.
Yeah.
Anyway,
And then Deadpool for Marvel, and
Nope,
then
Deadpool's up there too for me.
Green Arrow probably.
that's an
That's
interesting
good.
one.
I
You
love
just
Green
love freaking
few
bow
of
and
them.
arrow.
I love archery. Like I used to do it.
Why
You used to
What
do
about
archery.
Hawkeye then? Why is
Not
Hawkeye
like
your favorite?
competitively, but like
What
I
about
would
Hawkeye?
We should go
I love
sometime.
Hawkeye's
I
my
know.
favorite Avenger. Like
But yeah, let's go arching sometime. I've always wanted
Yeah,
to.
I love
Arching?
we can, but you
That's
won't
not
go
a-
shooting.
Don't say that. Don't.
No, it's not allowed. My
I
thing
used
is
to do
loud
it,
noises,
yeah.
so archery doesn't have it doesn't make a bang.
Yeah, but it goes.
It's still shooting something.
I like archery a lot. Archery's fun.
For me, my favorite DC hero, I can actually answer much more quickly than Marvel, which is weird because
Which is weird that you're stalling.
I know more. Green Lantern is my favorite
Yeah.
DC hero.
Which one?
Kyle Rayner.
There you go.
Because he's an artist and he was the underdog and everyone thought he was a piece of shit that couldn't do anything and then he actually ended up becoming the greatest of all of them, aka my life story, hopefully.
Hopefully, in parentheses.
Still in production.
TBA. Yeah. TBD.
Yeah,
The making of.
favorite Marvel hero, like I think the obvious answer that I wanted to think it would be Iron Man, but I don't even know if that's actually like
True anymore?
I feel like
You just
want
wanna
to
be
You've
him.
evolved.
Yeah.
You're like. If you, guys
just
haven't
love
seen,
Robert Downey Jr.
If you haven't seen,
Right.
if you haven't seen Jessica Jones, there's this line that Trish says in season 2, and she's like, I don't want to marry him. I want to be him, and you.
That's a
don't wanna,
spoiler because I have not finished season 2.
It's not really a spoiler.
I think
But he's so hot.
It's not really a spoiler
I think
at all.
Daredevil has been climbing like pretty high.
Daredevil has amazing comic book runs too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I want to read.
I can see
I
that
do
for
love
you.
Daredevil.
So I don't know. What?
Nothing.
Why?
Nothing.
Was it like a joke that I'm not a daredevil?
No, because
I could see that.
Yeah, there you go.
I got there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
Daredevil's
more
in my
like.
top.
Okay. Today's episode, we were lucky enough to have sponsored by Dr. Zebo's totally terrific two-sided dice.
Why does it always have to be a really long name?
You know, some people would call a two-sided dice a coin, but those people are just amateurs. Because let me tell you, there's no heads and tails here.
No.
There's only the 1 and 2. That's all you need.
It is
Correct.
the fidget spinner of
been called
two-sided dice.
It has been called the fidget spinner of two-sided dice by Definitely Real magazine.
By Definitely Real
DRM.
magazine.
For sure.
Oh, was I supposed to say something?
yeah.
I mean, yeah, we're
We have
going-
to talk about. We obviously got samples that we played with, so maybe talk about your experience a little bit with.
Honestly, I just had a lot of fun taking the two-sided dice and just spinning it like a coin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's also great
It's
for.
like that
But it's
joke.
not a coin.
It's like that joke. How do you
No.
keep a blonde busy for hours? Turnover.
Wow. Wow.
It's really great
Not
for
even
teaching
a real
you too, though.
blonde.
For like,
great for
I
you.
am sad. I
yeah,
am
random
naturally.
encounters, 50-50 chance of something happens. You had to roll a d20 and odds and evens. That's too complicated. Now, just one option or the other.
Now, a lot of detractors, I will say, will hit you with some variation of, why don't you just get a quarter? Why don't you just flip a coin?
I'm sorry, everyone has a quarter.
Everyone
Not
has a
everyone
quarter.
has Dr. Zebo's two-sided dice.
Totally terrific two-sided dice.
Totally terrific.
Customizable, if you will.
That's something we should. That's something you should elaborate on heavily. Right now.
Customizable.
One side has a penis, clearly.
If
I
you
was going
want,
to say balls. I was going to say balls.
Oh.
If you, if you swing that way,
yes.
Balls on one side, penis on the other.
Instead of heads or tails, shaft or balls. Like,
After balls.
Are you gonna get the shaft? Like, are you gonna get a pair of balls, or are you
It's-
gonna
Where
get
the shaft
nice?
is?
What is that? Nice down
Are
under
you
us?
going to get the
Are you
shaft?
gonna get a pair of
you
nice?
got a real beautiful pair
of
down
nice
under.
us?
Incidentally, Dr. Zebo was a notable pedophile.
Oh.
I don't think we should talk about that. In
That's
sponsorship.
not very good.
Listen, beggars can't be choosers, and we got to pay for this setup somehow. That's definitely
That's
not.
amazing
That's
setup.
definitely not our apartment dining room table.
It's amazing.
Got to pay the rent on this studio.
Yeah, this
Somehow.
totally real
So,
studio.
Julian, books our sponsor, so I guess real quick, Julian, why did you think it was a good idea to get
Well,
Dr. Zebo
Listen.
after his shady past?
Well, listen.
Allegedly.
Listen.
Allegedly.
Not a good look for me too.
He doesn't
Jared.
run the company anymore. It's run by his sons now. So,
Zebo Esquire.
Esquire.
Yeah.
Zebo,
Zebo
J.
and Sons.
Esquire.
Zebo and Sons,
Yeah.
basically.
Zebo J. Israel.
Esquire
Esquire.
and Sons.
Denzel Washington actually runs the
Oh,
company.
love Denzel. I've been told by multiple people
So we're fine.
that I look like a young Denzel.
It's true. How far can we go with this bit? Pretty far,
You'd
depending
be
on how we
surprised.
spin, how we flip the two-sided
Is that from something?
dice.
No, I just have told people for like 10 years I look like a young Denzel.
He's done this since like we became friends. Like,
Yep.
haven't you ever heard him say this before? I've heard him say this at least half a dozen times in the course of our friendship that he often gets compared to a young Denzel. Like, always. How have you not heard this? Like how you're convinced you look
He's
like a
dying.
young Andrew Garfield.
You don't look like Andrew Garfield at all, and I will never understand why you think you do.
I didn't say I do. I never said I did.
He
I
said other people have told
Other
me.
people have told me that.
But you do think
He
like
gets
I'm
super
not
upset.
saying. I'm just saying that other people have said.
I'm not saying, but I'm saying.
I'm
He,
not
like,
saying people
held
think
on
I'm
to this.
handsome. I'm just saying other people have told
Someone
Dude,
said
you
I
are
look like Megan
100%
Fox,
saying-
and I do not look like Megan Fox.
You are 100%
That is the
saying that you're
That
handsome.
is the humble brag. You were like that is the quintessential humble brag. If we had one of the two-sided dice now, we could be like, hey, two-sided dice, is Julian humble bragging? Yes or no? Yes.
Yes.
Balls for yes, dick for also yes.
Just have to roll a two-sided dice and find out.
How do you roll a two-sided dice? Because
Flip
I
it.
feel like it would just...
You flip
That's
it.
Or
technically counts as a roll.
Or
Okay,
you
a lot
just
of
flick
people, detractors, will say that's not a roll.
But you're
In
like,
fact.
this is how I roll.
This is
Or
how we roll.
what if it's technically like kind of ball shaped, but it's kind of pointed, so it's almost like like has
I
a
love
ridge
that.
around it,
I
so you can
love
kind of
that.
roll it.
I think we might have just innovated.
Dr.
See?
Zebo? Yeah,
Zebo.
it's us again. Oh, wait, no, not Dr. Zebo, his son.
Zebo Jr. Zebo Jr.
Oh, this is the prison? Sorry.
Zebo the second.
Can you put me through to Zebo?
Zebo the second.
Oh, man. Doug says...
Zebo, second of his name.
And then our actual sponsor. Black Panther shirts.
Oh yeah, we made Black Panther shirts.
If you could grab them.
This is actual now.
I'm gonna post a link in the thing. That's a thing that will
Julian
receive...
made Black Panther shirts in
so
honor
if
of
you'd
Black
like to
Panther.
buy our exclusive Black Panther shirts and actually legitimately support our enterprise here,
Yeah.
that would
So you
be
can have more
awesome.
More awesome trailer reactions and podcasts.
deep thoughts with Dr. Zebo.
Mm-hmm. And, sponsors that are on the up and up in future.
We could get Dave to play Dr. Zebo in an upcoming...
He does have history as Dr.
What was that? Whizzle. No,
Whizzle.
Dr. Whizzle something.
Well, I think it's a good time to stop before we get into any more hairy pedophilic related sponsorships.
Oh, why they gotta be hairy too?
Ooh, bad poor choice of words. Anyway, let's sign off with our customary improvisational sign off. Jack, 3, 2, 1.
Team Red all the way.
Team Red.
Okay, Alicia,
At
3, 2, 1.
2/3 Team Red all the way.
God, you guys suck. Dana, 3, 2, 1, go.
Hulk smart. Team Red dumb.
Green is my favorite color.
3, 2, 1.
Cheers to your glasses.
Oh yeah,
Really?
Ours were
Definitely
the
thought
bad-
you were
yeah.
about to drop a pedophilia thing in there, so I'm glad you didn't.
That was rough.
Oh, and please don't forget to tune in to our possible live stream
possible live
of
stream on
D&D on Wednesday.
It's
It's Wednesday, my
At-
dudes.
At
At
7-ish.
7-ish. Public standard time.
We
Turn
say
on the notifications.
we say 7, but
It'll be 7:30.
It'll be 7.
It'll be more like 7-ish to 7:30.
We'll try.
We promise we'll start before 9.
Peace out.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.